A vertical petrol engine, 100 mm in diameter and 120 mm scope. Okay, so yesterday, one of the persons has asked me a question to WhatsApp. So in this question, how you are taking the stroke length by 2 equal to radius? How it is justified? How did you do it? Now, if you think about the inherent geometry of the engine, only if your crank radius is half of your connecting rod, then such reciprocation and rotation are possible. Now, I'll give you a small task. Whoever is interested to know how this works, try to construct an IC engine in your Creo. Then you will understand that most of the cases, whatever may be the given reciprocating engine, the ratio of these two should be around 0.5. Only then this thing will work properly. This crank can go all around 360 degrees without dismantling your small end of the connecting rod from the gudgeon tree. They can move around. Okay. So it is taken for granted. Whenever your question does not have data regarding radius of your crank, then they would have given you the stroke length. So this is your capital L. Okay. So capital L by 2 is radius of the crank. Okay. Vertical petrol engine, 100 mm diameter. What does the term petrol engine tell you? It is a single acting cylinder. Okay. Petrol engine, you have combustion on only one side. Only the steam engine can be double acting. IC engines are not double acting. So vertical petrol engine, 100 mm diameter, 120 mm stroke length. Connecting rod is 250 mm long. The mass of the piston is 1.1 kilogram. So please don't confuse small l with capital L. Small l is stroke length, the length of this length from TDC to BDC. That is your capital L. Small l is the length of your connecting rod. That is totally different. Don't confuse small l with capital L. Stroke length by 2 is radius, not connecting rod length by 2. Okay. So please be careful. So as a connecting rod 250 mm long, mass of the piston is 1.1 kilogram. So MR, mass of the reciprocating part is 1.1 kilogram, 2000 RPM. So find omega out of that. On the expansion stroke with crank, theta is 20 degree. From the TDC, gas pressure is 700 kN per meter square. Determine net force on the piston. So this is FP. Okay. So resultant load on the gudgeon pin. So this could be FP or FQ. Since the question has already asked for FP, you are going to take this as FP. Okay. Next is thrust on the cylinder walls, FN. Because if you only know this notation, then the formula substitution will be easy for you. Speed above which the other things in remaining same, the gudgeon pin load will be reversed. So that we are going to see later, omega 1. Okay. So this is omega 1. Now let us write down the given data. Just have a look at the diagram on the right side of the screen. Okay. So that setup is given to you. Theta is 20 degree. Crank radius is 60 mm. It is indirectly. So since your stroke length is 120, the crank radius is 60. Don't expect this diagram in exam. Okay, this will not be given. For additional information, the diagram is given. It is not necessary. You don't need this diagram to solve the problem, but it is given as an illustration to you. Exam, you will not get diagrams in your question paper. Okay, so it is not necessary to solve the problem. Given data, so bore dia is 100 mm 0.1, L is 0.12, radius is capital L by 2 0.06. So connecting rod length small l equal to 2 mm 0.25 meter. Mass of the reciprocating parts 1.1 kilogram. N is 2000 RPM. Omega is 2 pi into 2000 by 60, 209.5 radians per second. Theta is 20. Gas pressure is 700 kilonewton. So 700 into 10 power 3 newton per meter square. Don't forget to put the 10 power 3. Just in the given data itself, you write it as 10 power 3. Otherwise, you will forget the 10 power 3 in the calculation. Okay. Don't keep it as kilonewton. Some books they follow kilonewton. Don't do that. Wherever you get kilonewton, write 10 power 3. Wherever you have newton per millimeter square, change it into meter square into 10 power 6. If you don't do that, you will miss many decimal errors in your problem. You will get errors. Okay. So what are all the things I'm going to find out? The same thing that is asked in the question. Net force on the piston FP. So just to tell you what these things I've written this again. So net force on the piston is FP. Load on the gudgeon pin. This could be FP or FQ. But since I'm already finding FP in the previous question, this should be FQ. Okay. They are almost equal. Could be anything, one of the two. So thrust on the cylinder walls Fn. The speed above which the gudgeon pin load is omega 1. Okay. So to do this, all this, first I have to find FP. To find FP, what is the formula? Prerequisite data calculation. So obliquity ratio L by R. Connecting rod length is 0.25. crank radius is 0.06, so n is equal to 0.25 by 0.06, 4.17. Okay. So then and there I will stop for 2 minutes. You try to do the answers with your calculator. Okay. So wherever necessary, this is a very simple calculation, not necessary. So wherever necessary, I will give you 2 minutes. So try to do the calculation along with me, and we'll check the answers. Okay. So I'm going to find out the value of phi. Sin phi equal to sin theta by n. So sin 20 by 4.17. Can we try this? Sin 20 by 4.17. So very simple. Just one line. Sin 20 by 4.17. It is 0.082. Okay. So if you have any conflicting answer, you can open your mic and tell me. Otherwise, you just follow me, because I cannot come out of the presentation to see if you have typed something. Right? Okay. You don't have to tell the answers. Please follow. Try to do along with me in a calculator. If you find anything wrong in the presentation, you can open the mic and talk. Right. So now we'll do the sin inverse to get the value of phi. Sin phi equal to 0.082. Phi equal to sin inverse of 0.082. Try to find the angle. What is the value of this connecting rod inclination angle? Phi. So that is 4.7 degree. Okay. So the formula for net load on the piston, please remember this is a vertical engine. So weight will also come into picture. So when you are first writing the formula, I am going to write as plus or minus here. But when I am going to substitute the values, I am going to keep a default minus here and substitute the answer with the symbol inside the bracket. I am repeating this once again. Don't forget it. Inertia force, whatever the answer, even negative answer you are getting, put it along with the negative symbol inside the bracket. Okay, negative value. Whatever value, positive or negative, keep a default minus symbol outside in the formula. Just for writing sake, the formula you write in the notebook, you can write plus or minus. But substituting, keep a minus outside, and along with the symbol of the inertia force, you substitute the value. And this plus or minus should be decided based on the value of theta. 0 to 180, piston is traveling downwards. Gravity helps you, put plus. 180 to 360 theta value, piston is traveling upwards. So gravity is against you, put minus. So that is the logic behind this formula. Now I am going to first find the piston load, FL, pressure into area. Okay. So gas pressure is given as 700 kilonewton, and area of the piston 5 by 4 d square. 5 by 4 into 100 mm is my cylinder cross section diameter, bore diameter. So 5 by 4 d square is 0.07854. You cross check that. Okay. Try to cross check that and try to find out the value of FL. 700 into 10 power 3 into 0.07854. So I really suggest you to do the calculations with me. Just don't sit that nobody is checking us. So what is there if you don't do the calculation? In course of time, you will get rusty calculations. You will not be able to do it fast. Only if you keep practicing, you can do it. So that is why we took the pain of hiding the answer and then making it come in again. See, you know how much time it takes to make such PPT. Okay, please understand that. Study then and there. Try to practice the problems done every day. I'm not only telling about this subject, whatever we listen. Okay. So 700 for 3, 0.07854. The answer is 5,500 Newton approximately, right? It's rounded off. 5,500 Newton. So load on the piston is 5,500. Next is my inertia force. I'm going to find out the therefore load on the piston is 5,500. Okay. I'll move on. Inertia force formula, mass into acceleration, mr omega square r cos theta plus cos 2 theta divided by n. So mr equal to 1.1 kilogram. You may feel that we are constantly doing the same type of problems again and again. But why I'm doing this is for your university exam question paper, 11A question will come from this model. Okay, 100% you can get 13 marks out of this model if you practice only these problems that I have been taking to you from for the past 3 or 4 classes. Only these inertia forces problems, if you practice, you will get 13 marks in the first unit. Okay, so please be careful. The second half of the first unit is a little bit more tricky to you than this. So that's why I am teaching you many problems. In real class situation, we cannot do these many problems. We can do only one problem in 1 hour. So since it is PPT, it is going a little bit faster. Okay, so please follow this. Don't get saturated with this. Don't feel that we are doing same thing again and again. It carries 13 marks certainly. So that's why we are doing more number of problems. So MR, mass of reciprocating parts, is 1.1 kg. Okay, what else is there? Substitute the values. So omega I have already calculated from 2000 RPM in the beginning itself, which is 209.5 square into radius of the crank is 0.06. Okay, so omega is 2000 RPM, 2 pi n by 60, 209.5 omega square. Radius is 0.06. Okay, so theta is 20 degree. 2 theta, 2 into 20, 40 degree. Divided by n is 4.17. 4.17 or 4.7. Correct, 4.17. Okay, so try to do this, get the answer of this. 1.1 into 209.5 square into 0.06, the whole bracket cos 20 plus cos 40 by 4.1. So please use proper parenthesis in the calculator. So please try to do it, calculator. The answer should be coming around 3254 Newton inertia force, positive sign. Since your theta is less than 90, cos theta is always positive if your theta is less than 90. Okay, so you can just remember it as a logic. In calculator will get the answer correctly straight away, positive or negative, whatever answer you are getting, right straight away. 3254. Okay, so next I'm going to, what is the third component in my FP formula? Weight of the reciprocating parts. Okay, so mass into gravity. Mass is given as 1.1 kilogram. Gravity is 9.81. So multiply 1.1 into 9.81, 10.791. The weight of the reciprocating parts. Now I am going back to the formula. Okay, so here I have written a default minus along with the symbol of the inertia force inside the bracket. So in this problem, no issues. You have got a positive answer. So straight away you can subtract. If you get a negative answer for inertia force, put it inside this bracket. Negative of Fi value. So that becomes a positive. It gets added automatically. Okay. So this is the best way to remember this formula. Next is your weight of the reciprocating parts. I am going to add because theta is 20 degree. So piston is traveling downwards, 0 to 180 degree. If you are lying within 0 to 180 degree, your piston is traveling downwards. So gravity is going to help you. So you are going to add the weight to the net force on the piston. Okay, so substitute the values. Now I know that load on the piston is 5,500. That's now I have found out. Inertia force is 3254 Newton. Weight is 10.791. Substitute these numbers into the above formula. Okay, 5,500 minus 3254 plus 10.791. Just a normal addition subtraction. So the answer is 2256.8. Okay, you can keep cross-checking my answers along with me if you are able to do it with your calculator. So people who are unable to follow and find the class a little bit fast, the PowerPoint is anyway, it's going to be shared after the class. Please do the problems in your notebook. So this piston effort is 2256.8. That is your first question. Net force on the piston or piston effort, both are same. So first subdivision of the problem is over. Second is your gudgeon pin load. In this problem, you are going to take it as FQ because you already found FP. So gudgeon pin load, the term, if the question says gudgeon pin load, either it should be taken as FP or FQ. You read the question. In the question, if they are asking you to calculate gudgeon pin load and thrust on the connecting rod, thrust on the connecting rod is FQ. Therefore, they are not meaning FQ by the term gudgeon pin load. You can take it as FQ. Otherwise, take it as FP. Okay. So since in this problem they have asked piston load and gudgeon pin load, I am taking gudgeon pin load as FQ. Okay. One of the two you can choose depending on the question. Okay. Next is your load on the gudgeon pin FQ. Here I am taking in this problem. Okay. Thrust in the connecting rod equal to FQ equal to FP by cos phi. Very simple. Both the values I know. FP I know 2256 just now I have found out, and phi is the 4.7 degree I have already found out. Okay. Using sin phi equal to sin theta by n equivalence, I found out phi to be 4.7. Okay. So now I substitute the values. 2256.8 divided by cos 4.7 degree. Try to do the answer. 2256.8 divided by cos 4.7. So the answer is 2265 Newton is the load on the gudgeon pin. Okay. Or thrust in the connecting rod. Now this thrust is getting distributed to your crank. Okay. So net load on the gudgeon pin or thrust in the connecting rod is FQ, which is 2265 Newton. So next question. Thrust on the cylinder walls, Fn. So what is the formula for cylinder wall? Fn, Fp tan phi. Very simple. Fp tan phi. Fp is also with you. Phi is also with you. Fp is 2256.8. Phi is 4.7 degree. Just substitute the numbers. 2256.8 into tan 4.7. Try to get the answer. That is 185.5 Newton. So 185 Newton thrust is placed on the cylinder walls when theta is 20 degree. It keeps changing. Okay. So thrust on the cylinder wall is 185.5 Newton. The last question, speed at which gudgeon pin load is reversed in direction. This we have seen already in yesterday's problem. I'll explain to you once again. Okay. So what is the formula for FP? FL minus FI plus WR. Okay. Speed at which gudgeon pin load is reversed. The load reversal takes place when piston effort reaches zero and begins to change direction. Okay. So I'll put it simply this way. So FP equal to FL minus FI plus WR. Club the positive values and keep the separately negative value. So FL plus W minus FI. When the sum of these two terms, see, you think like this. So when the sum of FL and W is equal to FI, what will happen? This answer will become zero, correct? So if I add FL and W, I am going to get an answer. Okay. If that answer is equal to Fi, what will happen? There is a minus symbol here, so the entire term will become zero. That is a point where inertia is equal to your piston effort, which means your engine will stop. Your piston will stop due to inertia. And beyond that point, what will happen? If the inertia keeps increasing beyond that, the piston load will reverse in direction. Right now, I am trying to move in this direction. The piston is trying to push the load and keep moving ahead. Inertia is trying to stop you. What will become if inertia gets stronger? Your piston will try to move in this direction, opposite direction. And that is what he is asking. Speed at which gudgeon pin load is reversed. Okay. Why we are telling speed at which gudgeon pin load reversed? What does speed have to do with inertia? You look into the formula of inertia. You will understand. This could be done by equating Fp to 0 and find the value of omega. Okay. So what is the formula for inertia force? We will look into it one minute. So load on the piston is 5,500. Weight of the reciprocating parts is. So formula for inertia force. This is your formula for inertia force, right? This is the formula for inertia force. What are all the terms here? Mass of the reciprocating parts into square of the angular velocity in radians per second. Radius 20 degree, 20 degree. If you look into this bracket, red color bracket, which is the most easily variable thing inside the bracket? Angle is easily variable, okay, and speed is easily variable, but this variation in angle is not going to bring about a very big, see, without changing angle, you cannot rotate. So this is not an actual variation. That is, inertia force is proportional to the square of the velocity, angular velocity. So which is the most dominant factor in this equation, which is going to disturb the answer very severely, omega. Okay. So speed will directly affect your inertia in a very big way. Let us say if I have speed of 1, I'll get 1 square 1 proportionality. Okay. If it is 2, if you double the speed, your inertia will become 2 square. Inertia will not double, it will become 4 times. The speed is 3, it will become 9 times. 4, 16 times. So that much impact your omega is going to have on the inertia force. So now the speed is going to dictate the inertia. That is why I am asking you the speed above which gudgeon load is reversed. Okay. So what I have done here, I have written that Fp equal to 0. See, same equation is written here. Okay. So this FL is 5,500. I know that directly. Okay. And this WR is this 10.791. I know that. So in place of inertia, I need to find a new speed at which this can become equal and gets 0. Okay. Therefore, I'm going to write it now. This also I know what is the value for the existing speed. Okay. But now I want to find a new speed. Therefore, what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep this as unknown, omega 1. So previously we had on omega some 209 or something. In that place, I'm going to put omega 1, unknown value, like keeping unknown as x. Like that, I'm keeping omega 1. And I am putting all the other values are constant, right? All the other things are constant for this problem. 1.1 kg, 0.06 crank radius, 20-degree crank position, and the obliquity ratio 4.17. Everything else is same. Now solve for omega. Okay. So 5110, I'm just adding this weight of the reciprocating parts to the, just bring it here. Both are plus sign. Okay. So that becomes 5110.8 minus 1.1 omega square. All this, right? Now solve this and find out the value of omega. So 5110.8. Same thing I'm repeating. So try to find the value of omega. Omega will be 5110 equal to 0.074 omega 1 square. So omega 1 equal to square root of 5110.8 divided by 0.074. So this simplification step you have to try. So just first solve this. Okay, take this omega 1 square out. Just leave this and put everything else in the calculator and see whether you are getting 0.074. Okay, except this omega 1 square, all the other numbers you can type in the calculator. 1.1 into 0.06 into cos 20 plus cos 40 by 4.1. Follow proper parentheses in the calculator. Otherwise, you will get wrong answer. Okay. So that should come around 0.074 omega 1 square. So I am cross multiplying and taking square root. Omega 1, the new speed value is 273 radians per second, which means what do you understand from this? Gudgeon pin load reversal speed. It means that your engine should not reach the speed. If it reaches that speed, you will have enormous amount of vibration due to inertia. Don't go to that speed. That is a warning message. Okay. So that is why you are finding this speed. Okay. You should not operate that engine in that speed. So therefore, the speed at which the load reversal takes is 270. Now convert this to RPM. So that is much easily understandable for everybody. So angular velocity at which Gudgeon pin load reversal occurs 273 radians per second. I'm going to convert that. So omega equal to 2 pi n by 60. Now I'm going to cross multiply. So n is equal to 2 pi n by 60. Correct. I'm sorry. Omega equal to 2 pi n by 60. Now cross multiply to get n. 60 will go to the numerator, 2 pi will come to the denominator. That's what I have written here. Okay. So omega into 60 by 2 pi. To get the value of n, keep n on the right side, send everything to the left side. So omega into 60 by 2 pi. The same thing is written here. Omega into 60 by 2 pi. So 273 into 60 by 2 pi. So that should come around 2606 RPM. So please don't operate this engine above 2600 RPM. That is a safety limit. Okay. If you see in your bike speedometer, above that 80 or 100 or depending on the cc of your engine, the bike capacity, towards the right end of the speedometer, extreme end of the speedometer, they would have shaded your speed dial in red color. Which means that engine is not really 100% balanced for the speed. You will get a large amount of vibrations in your bike if the speedometer reads red color. So it is not advisable to operate the bike at the speed, and the braking system is not 100% capable to stop the bike at the speed. Vibrations are also not 100% balanced. So red color speed limit indicated in the speedometer tells you that it is not advisable to drive the bike at the speed. But it is not that it is not possible to drive. You can do it, but it is not advisable. Okay, so that is the meaning. Don't go to 2606 RPM. So the inertia and the piston will be very high. Okay, so that's what you have to understand. Now that is the end of your problem. You will summarize the results. The piston effort is 2256 Newton. Load on the Gudgeon pin, or in this problem you are taking Gudgeon pin load as FQ because you already found FQ. Okay, if you have already found FQ and then you are finding Gudgeon pin load, then you can take it as FQ. So you can decide, choose between the two based on the question. Okay, thrust on the cylinder wall 185.5. Speed at which Gudgeon pin load reversal takes place 2606 RPM. So that is the end of your problem. Okay, so this problem is taken from Rattan textbook, problem 15.11. Okay, you can note it down. If you want to cross check or you want to refer the book, you can do it.